I love smoothies, but I don't love smoothie bar prices. With my BlendJet 2 portable blender, I can make smoothie bar quality beverages for a fraction of the price. BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up a smoothie at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even a margarita on the beach. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through tough ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease. BlendJet 2 is whisper quiet, so you can make your morning smoothie without waking up the whole house. And it lasts for 15 plus blends and recharges quickly via USB-C. Best of all, BlendJet 2 cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap and you are good to go. With over 30 plus colors and patterns to choose from, there's a BlendJet 2 to complement just about any style. Go to blendjet.com and grab yours today. And be sure to use the promo code AdrianTan12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. No other portable blender on the market comes close to the quality, power, and innovation of BlendJet. They guarantee you love it or your money back. Blend anytime, anywhere with BlendJet 2 portable blender. Go to blendjet.com and use the code AdrianTan12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Adrian Tan Show. More than 9 in 10 workers are experiencing burnout in Singapore. Compounded with the stress that comes with rising cost of living and economic uncertainty, workers are re-evaluating their priorities when it comes to work. This trend shows no sign of easing, with more than 1/3 of respondents surveyed saying they are looking for a new job in the next 12 months. Employees are the most valuable assets. Understanding what employees want and where their issues lie is crucial to implementing a successful retention strategy that benefits everyone. And on that note, executive coaching is becoming a popular strategy for companies to adopt amidst the Great Resignation. Research has shown that effective executive coaching improves leadership performance, particularly in leaders dealing with uncertainty. Coaching also leaves employees feeling more confident, more productive, and more valued by their organization. This in turn boosts job satisfaction and work engagement, helping companies to retain their top talent. My guest today is Aradhana Srivastava. She's the head of sales for Asia at EZRA, a leading global virtual coaching provider. A strong advocate for democratizing coaching, Arad had also worked as a senior coach and trainer for 6 years, and she hopes to help more people unlock their potential through coaching in her current position at EZRA. Hi Arad, thank you for coming onto the podcast.
Hi Adrian, thank you so much. Really a pleasure to be here.
To some degree, executive coaching is still relatively newish in this part of the world. So for the uninitiated, could you give us a very layman's term of what executive coaching is and what can one actually get out of it?
We call coaching a superpower. Layman's term, it's something which is a very powerful tool, which helps anyone maximize their potential with the help and guidance of a coach through one-on-one conversation. People have known to really transform themselves. I have a personal experience with coaching myself. When I moved to Singapore about 8 years ago, I was a trailing spouse with no work, with no network, with no connection, no job. And as a lot of other people would also relate to this, I actually looked forward and found a great coach who helped me really understand how to set goals for myself, be realistic and patient, find opportunities, and work on timeline-based set actions. So coaching was such an immense help for me personally as well, and has been in my career progression. And all of us at EZRA have seen such great instances where coaching is used. And let me give you some examples here. When the leaders in the organization, we use coaching, it could be very impactful in developing their own leadership skills, in helping them lead change, have very powerful conversation with their team, and also help in retaining good talent. And for individual contributors, coaching really helps in developing their own personal skills and, of course, professional skills. And even things like embracing change, especially in these trying times when COVID has run havoc and everything has changed. We all had to change. And as Charles Darwin says, it's not the strongest of species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones that's most responsive to change. So may I just say that coaching is that tool which really helps one become very responsive to change and sometimes even a master of change. We have worked with quite a large company to provide coaching to their high potentials, who moved recently from a single role, like an individual contributor role, to a manager. And though they received technical skills from the organization, but as a person, how do you suddenly know how to become a manager? We're not born managers, right? You have to learn. And from moving to become a high performer to becoming a very impactful manager, now through their journey with our EZRA coaches, these coaches were able to really tailor-make their conversations to each of the needs of managers and helping them manage their remote teams, helping them think strategically, and even manage their work-life balance. So coaching not just helps in building more awareness, but also helps in developing realistic goals and work towards them to progress both towards your personal and professional life.
A lot of new and young managers would just be promoted because their individual contribution work is fantastic. Maybe the top sales performer of the year became sales manager, but not many companies realize that actually it's just a very different skill set.
Exactly.
And a lot of preparation were not actually invested or even considered prior to pushing this person up the pedestal. But before we deep dive into that aspect, I have quite a number of questions. But maybe firstly, I want to understand, it seems like there are so many merits when it comes to executive coaching. Why is it still somewhat newish in this part of the world? And it's only perhaps over the past 2-3 years that a lot more emphasis on executive coaching. Shouldn't this be something that people would have figured out like 10, 20, 30 years ago?
That's a great question, Adrian. So a couple of reasons why we do see that executive coaching took a bit of time. One of the reasons is traditionally coaching has been given mostly to the very senior leaders in the organization. It was expensive. So only the C executive levels were able to access to it. Of course, at EZRA, we believe in democratization of coaching. So we have proven through how the coaching intervention, that if coaching is really made available to multiple levels, the ripple effect is much bigger. And that is something I think now the organizations have started realizing as well. Of course, it was more available to senior leaders when you started helping the clients and the organization understand what kind of great impact it can have on their business growth. That's where coaching started taking a little bit more precedent. And because of COVID, of course, that's one place which has really helped people wellness, their understanding of having people centricity. I think that really increased a more value into the talent development. Along with that, the retention of people became quite a significant area where the organizations wanted to work. And all of these things put together, they also realized that yes, you can provide training and you can provide group intervention, but everybody as an individual needs more personalized help, especially at a time like this. And I could be a female leader based in Singapore, but I may think and operate in a very different way from a female leader who's sitting in Japan. So are we two at the same level, the same kind of people? Probably not. Yes, we may need to definitely have the right kind of skills to be able to be leaders, but the way the coach needs to approach and have the support to us into understanding that culture and building the development goals and the progress coaching around that, that became more vital. So more individualized, more personalized attention, and also understanding that there is more equal centricity required.
Do you think the ability to be more aware of the issues that you may need help with might have also contributed to the pickup in executive coaching? Because if you look at matters such as mental wellness, obviously we've been having those issues for the longest time, but people of my generation, we don't talk about it. We just suck it up, accept it, and then move on with life. But COVID-19 has somewhat manifested this, maybe the TikTok generation as well. Because when you talk about executive coaching, especially for C-level, when you mention the word C-level, the first word that comes to my mind is ego. And a lot of people would have so many chips on their shoulder that firstly, they will not be able to see all their faults. And second of all, the last thing they want is for someone to come in and tell them what you're doing is wrong. How does that reconcile with the kind of pickup that you see in executive coaching? And also the second question is, if there are leaders in companies that do face such a problem, how can the organization help encourage or convince the leader that actually coaching is something you should consider?
That's a great question, Adrian. You're absolutely right. Of course, many people think that, especially when they become more successful at senior levels, they do not need any coaching because they've reached a certain level and their learning is stopped. In fact, there's a question for you, Adrian. What do you think is one common thing among Bill Gates, Oprah, Steve Jobs, and Eric Schmidt?
They are all rich people, successful people. I don't know.
No, that's right. And along with that, all of them had a coach by their side.
Wow.
So you can
Okay.
see they're not just celebrities, but people to reckon with. They are the inspirational personalities. But even they realize the value of coaching. So coaching, no matter what role you're in, what level you're at, continued growth is what really helps in continuous progress. Let me give you one more example. We recently worked with a large global organization in APAC, where the C executives who manage different divisions of the business, they were working in silo. As you just said, right? I mean, there are egos, and of course, they do not feel the need to even go in and do any work with that. But this was definitely not helping the organization. Their overall business targets were getting affected. It was also leading to freakouts, people not feeling very engaged, and of course, conflicts. So when the situation came in, we started a program for them, which we provided. It's called EZRA X to them, where they had a chance to be coached with very senior coaches. And these coaches, by the way, had thousands of hours of coaching under their belt, probably have been senior executives themselves. And once they started working with them, the results were incredible. Within the 6 months, the participants, who we felt probably will not be very receptive and open, they realized the value in coaching. They also realized the value in being more collaborative. They started respecting other divisions. I'm not saying all of them, of course. I mean, there are always outliers, but the majority started really working together. And their teams also started becoming more and more open to learn from the other business. Because ultimately, leadership trickled down from top to bottom. Because they were working in silos, the teams were also working in silos. So ultimately, when the organizations realized that they need to work together in collaboration, they need to come together in some form to be able to be successful. And when they are successful, of course, the organization is successful. That's where they also realize that there is a need to take help and there is a need to take guidance.
When I try to broach on the topic of coaching, there will be commonly two key rebuttal that they come up with. One is, I'm already getting my internal managers to mentor them. Okay. So my first question is, what's the difference between executive coaching and mentoring? And the second question is, wouldn't the coach then get to know a bit about the private stuff within the organization? What about all this privacy informational flow?
Well, let me answer the second question first, Adrian, on the privacy part. The coaches who we work with, they're ICID certified and they are under contract to keep everything confidential. Even when they work with all the participants, they have thousands of participants we are working with across the globe. They never share any private information or any conversation that they're having. There could just be a discussion around common themes which are coming up, maybe when they're working with a particular organization. But coaching is absolutely confidential. And they're always under the coaching contract, which is basically by ICF, the guiding body. And that is something that is sort of an ethical code of. So just to answer that first question, it is absolutely kept confidential. Now, mentoring is a long-term relationship which is based on trust, respect, and there's a desire by the mentee to be in wisdom that would help hopefully lead the individual towards a specific objective. Now, mentoring, much like training as well, is a bit of a hierarchical relationship of knowledge. The mentor is assumed to have highly experienced individual. They should know about the mentee's field. And in the workplace, mentor provides guidance or career advice to them. While coaching and mentoring are both about a transfer of knowledge from a teacher to student or to mentor to mentee, in coaching, there is no hierarchy. In this, there's a very informal, a very safe and a confidential space. The coachee needs to step in themselves and challenge themselves, while the coach partners with the coachee to deepen their self-development in the areas of growth or strength. This is an important area, Adrian, where it becomes very different. And of course, for people to also understand that ultimately the coach is not there to solve their problems. And when I say that, we put a caveat here. The coach is there to guide them and help them. They will not give them any solution. The solution will come from you. So you can see it like a big jigsaw puzzle. The coach will help you look for the pieces of the puzzle, will help you develop the capability to put the puzzle together. But only you can actually complete that. So coaching is sort of a superpower where you start finding your own solution. There's nobody telling you anything. You will be finding that solution. Of course, coach will be guiding you through the entire process.
It sounds to me like executive coaching seems to be able to fix quite a number of things for aspiring leaders, for new managers, as well as for, in your case, setting up goals, trying to find a new direction. But I'm very certain it is not fix all panacea. Are there certain attributes that executive coaching would not be able to fix, or would there be anyone that may not find executive coaching suitable for them because of the state they're in or the situation that they're in?
I'm such a great champion of coaching. I can never say nothing can be fixed. Of course, I would feel the only one thing which comes between you and your coaching is yourself. If you don't believe in something, if you believe that this is not for me, even if I put the best of coaches in front of you, it would be difficult for them to get things across. So I would say it's the openness to learning is something that brings in any kind of learning. It doesn't have to be coaching. It could be any learning at all. And if somebody is open, I believe coaching can be such a superpower for them to learn anything or change anything or even bring in any kind of progress.
Earlier on, you also shared that executive coaching can influence retention. I think we are in a very unique conundrum for Singapore because our supply of talent
That's true.
Always in deficit. And retention definitely makes sense. You rather retain someone for 5 years rather than cycle through 5 individuals 5 times over the course of 5 years. So how would coaching be able to somewhat fix that or reduce attrition in organization?
Basically, understanding what employees want and what their issues lie, where their issues lie, is really key to implementing a successful retention strategy. Sometimes the organization thinks that these are the things our employees want. Just give them a scale of money or increase their salaries and this will help. We've seen through multiple surveys and through multiple reports also which are coming out. And that's not always the case. And the Great Resignation has seen record number of people leaving. The report from EY that more than half are planning to quit in the next 12 months. So these are alarming figures. And of course, there's a growing disconnect in understanding what people really value when it comes to work. Now, this is where the organizations need to really start working towards it rather than focusing merely on their financial incentive. There is a greater desire for other things, and this really has come across through the coaching interventions as well. Like people are looking forward to better work-life balance or career advancement and development, to be able to work from home or from office, have that kind of flexibility, have autonomy, and of course, being valued. And how the personal values are aligned with the organization values also make a huge difference. So encouraging the employees to spend time with a coach can go really a long way in helping them find more value and support within the company. And of course, according to our data rates at EZRA, we have seen a report of 77% increase in engagement and loyalty to the company through coaching. So there are many ways in which that can be done. But of course, it's the organization who needs to really look forward and think about what works best with their people.
We looked at examples in C-suite. We also looked at new people managers. Would coaching then be unique and suitable only for those persona? What if I'm at an entry-level individual contributor?
Absolutely. In fact, Adrian, coaching towards the onboarding time is becoming more and more a discussion, and our clients have been starting asking for that. In fact, just to share with you, everybody at EZRA, each employee at EZRA who joins our company gets a coach by their side for 6 months when they're onboarded. So we are basically practicing what we are preaching. We realize the value in coaching. We realize how by our side, which really helps. So it could be an office manager all the way to any level at all. Everybody gets coached. We've realized that individual contributors can really, get right kind of support in terms of building their resilience, building their basic skills as well. I need to influence my senior stakeholders. How do I do that? How do I build that confidence? Now that really comes quite well when you're working with a coach, and also, of course, working towards their career progression.
Organizations that are keen to explore coaching for the very first time, how would you advise them to take that first step?
We do realize that time is a very valuable commodity in every corporate function. So at EZRA, we have always ensured that the most seamless way should be possible across for anybody. So anybody should be able to have access to coach anywhere at any point in time. We call it coaching in the moments that matter. And we built EZRA as simple as video calling a friend or ordering stuff online. It is as simple to be able to access the coach. It really happens in a very few clicks. You can actually download the app, select the development goals you want to work on, find your coach through the profiles in the app, and schedule a time with them. It's really just happening in a few clicks in a few minutes, and you can have a great coaching conversation from there. So, all companies have to do is to sign up for a free trial. You can go on our EZRA website, helloezra.com, and our team will get in touch with you on the next steps. And of course, you find a lot of resources, insights. There are great video testimonials on the website as well.
For people who is keen to learn more about yourself as well as EZRA, where can they go to?
They can go to the website, and of course, I'm available as well. My email ID is arad@helloezra.com. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'm very happy to assist and support in any requirements you can, and also give more information on coaching and how it could support your organization.
All this will be added into the show notes. Thank you so much for coming onto the show and sharing with us and dispel some of the misconception, and as well as to inform us better about what executive coaching is all about. I hope this will be beneficial for the listeners out there who may be sitting on the fence about executive coaching, what exactly it is all about, how it differs from things like mentoring, and that may help you to take the first baby step and consider something like executive coaching. Thank you for listening to the podcast. You can refer to the show notes for links to more information about our guests and their businesses. If you enjoyed this podcast, it would be helpful to give a review on iTunes or follow me on Spotify. If you're using Overcast, please hit the star button under the episode. That will help get this episode and podcast out to more people who may find it useful. I'll see you in the next episode of The Adrian Han Show.